ISO is one of the most misunderstood camera settings in wildlife photography. A lot of photographers are afraid to raise their ISO levels, and that fear costs them a lot of shots. In this Tips Tuesday video, I want to explain what ISO is and how to use it effectively and confidently out in the field. Now, what is ISO? ISO adjusts how sensitive your sensor is to light. Higher ISO values equals a brighter image, but it also introduces more noise to your images as well. This added noise is a trade-off. It's not a deal breaker to wildlife photographers. A noisy photo is always better than a blurry or a missed opportunity. Now, ISO is the last part of the exposure triangle. We already talked about aperture and shutter speed, and ISO fills in that exposure. Now, we already discussed that wildlife is constantly moving. We're typically photographing them in low light situations or changing light situations, and wildlife doesn't wait for us. So it's important to prioritize your shutter speed and aperture first, and then use ISO to adjust and fill in the exposure that you need to for that situation. Now, it's important to note too that ISO values and the ISO values you're comfortable with are going to vary depending on your own personal situation. You may be fine with a high ISO image, or maybe you prefer your images more clean and low ISO. That's personal preference. It doesn't really matter what the case is. And it also depends on what camera you're using as well. Different sensors are going to have different abilities to handle high ISO images. Modern cameras handle high ISO a lot better than many people think, so you're able to actually increase your ISO values and still get very usable images. But it does vary depending on your camera brand and sensor size. And I'd also advise you to test out different ISO values. Just do some tests in your backyard, different ISO values, different lighting situations, and see what ISO values you're comfortable with. You may be fine with an ISO value of 10,000 or so if you need to, or maybe you want to kind of limit it to 6,400 or 4,000. Whatever your personal preference is, I would suggest going out, testing a couple situations with different lights, and see what ISO values you are comfortable with accepting in your images. In brighter situations, you're able to have lower ISO values, and then in darker situations, you're going to need to increase that ISO value as well. So there's not really any necessarily number guidelines to follow. Just remember to prioritize your shutter speed and aperture values, and then fill in the ISO values depending on what your exposure needs to be, instead of necessarily focusing on that ISO number. Now, auto ISO can also be really beneficial for you as well, especially for wildlife photography, especially if you're using manual or shutter priority modes for your camera. This allows you to set your shutter speed, focus on that so you can freeze the motion, and then your camera will fill in the exposure and adjust ISO values based on the lighting in the situation. This really allows you to react quickly and adjust quickly when everything has a pretty even lighting situation. Now, auto ISO doesn't always work the best depending on the lighting, but that's a topic for another time. But if you're photographing in changing light, the wildlife is moving quickly, you don't have time to adjust all your settings, auto ISO is a very good place to start with, and you'll be able to get good results most of the time. Now, the two biggest mistakes around ISO, number one, we kind of already hit this, but just refusing to raise your ISO values because you think your images are going to be too noisy. It's better to get the shot, even if it's a little noisy and grainy, and raise that ISO value so you can get that photo versus missing the opportunity or letting the opportunity slip by because you refuse to raise your ISO value. The second mistake that I make sometimes is I use manual ISO. So when lighting changes, you need to remember to also adjust your ISO values as well. Don't get stuck in thinking, oh, that everything's set. Well, if lighting changes, you need to adjust your settings, especially ISO, so you can get the exposure that you're looking for. And the key thing to remember is sharp beats a clean image every time. You can always clean images up, especially in post-process nowadays. There's a lot of things in Lightroom. Obviously, there's a lot of AI tools if you're into that, but you can always clean up an image. It's best to get a sharp image because you can't fix a blurry image. So just remember, ISO is a tool. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't be afraid by it. Raise it if you need to, and then just make sure you can get a sharp photo, because raising that ISO value can allow you to get a lot more photos in some pretty dark situations. Let me know in the comments down below what the highest ISO value you're willing to go in your wildlife photography. Everybody has their own preference, and I'd love to hear yours. And this builds upon the previous tips that I talked about, shutter speed, aperture. It finalizes the exposure triangle. If you want to check out the entire playlist of Tips Tuesday, I have a link down below. Check that out. Otherwise, I will see you next week for the next Tips Tuesday. Thanks for watching.